Hello, beautiful people. Sometimes the smallest decision changes everything. This story begins with a man who changed his seat on the train. The Man Who Changed Seats, Part 1. Henry had always lived a quiet life. He was 35, worked at a publishing office, and rented a small apartment in the city. To most people, he seemed ordinary. But inside, Henry carried the weight of regrets. He thought often about his younger days, the dreams he let slip away, the friendships that had faded, and especially the girl named Clara whom he once loved but never had the courage to tell. That evening, Henry boarded the late-night train from Oakbridge Station. It was past 10, the hour when most people were already home. The platform was almost empty, and the train itself looked quiet, dimly lit, with only a handful of passengers scattered here and there. Henry found a window seat in the middle of the coach. He pulled out a book, but his mind was too restless to read. His day had been heavy. His boss had rejected his proposal at work, and on top of that, it was Clara's birthday. He hadn't spoken to her in years, yet he couldn't stop thinking of her. As the train pulled away, the lights flickered for a moment, and Henry noticed a man sitting 3 rows ahead. The man looked ordinary at first glance, mid-40s, wearing a dark coat and a gray hat, holding nothing but a small leather bag. But within minutes, Henry saw something odd. The man stood up, quietly moved to another seat across the aisle and sat down. No problem. People move seats all the time. But then, barely 5 minutes later, the man got up again and shifted 2 rows back. A few minutes after that, he switched to the other side of the coach. Henry frowned. Why would someone keep changing seats on an almost empty train? Then Henry noticed something stranger. When the man moved, small details around him seemed different. For example, a newspaper left on a nearby seat now had a headline Henry swore wasn't there before. The headline first read, "Local Mayor Announces New Library." After the man changed seats, Henry glanced again. The headline now read, "Local Mayor Under Investigation." Henry blinked hard. He thought maybe he was imagining it. But then, another passenger, a woman with a red scarf, who had been sitting quietly near the door, suddenly wasn't there anymore. Instead, in her place, a man in a work uniform was sleeping against the window. Henry's chest tightened. He rubbed his eyes. Could this be fatigue? Was his mind playing tricks? But the pattern continued. Each time the stranger changed his seat, something else shifted in reality. Henry's curiosity grew sharper. He decided to watch the man carefully. And then it happened. The man stood up once again, moved to the seat directly across from Henry, and sat down. Henry froze. The man turned his head slightly, his eyes hidden beneath the brim of his hat. Then, without a word, he slipped a folded piece of paper onto Henry's seat and stood up again. As the man walked toward the back of the coach, Henry picked up the note with trembling fingers. It had only one line written in uneven handwriting. "Sit where I sat, and you'll understand." Henry's heart raced. Should he? What seemed like a small choice, just a changed seat, was about to change everything. But the story doesn't end here. It continues in part 2.